What's up, guys? Welcome back to WhatCheers. I am Nick.
I'm Jared.
And tonight we're going to be taking a look at Alpine Brewery out of, you guessed it, Alpine, California. I just went there in the end of December, and it is now the second week of January.
Yep.
So this beer is it's less than a month old, and it is one of their IPAs that is...
I think this one's actually seasonal for them.
Is it seasonal?
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, this is their Nelson IPA. It's a golden rye IPA that comes in at 7%, and it is brewed with just rye and Nelson Sauvin hops.
Yeah, 100% Nelson Sauvin
from New Zealand.
Hence the name.
Yep, that's the name. Yep. So, other than that, there's not much else to say. They're really all their beers are incredible. They have like world-class ratings, very high, 90s, whatever. So I think of them as kind of like a West Coast, like Lawson's or Hill Farmstead kind of thing, because they're very small and everything they make is excellent. I went to a lot of breweries out in California, and they were really, really just all about the small batch feel and doing really, really impressive brews in a very small location. So, with that being said, I picked up a couple different ones for us to review, and let's get right into the Nelson.
All right.
The appearance.
It pours like, this reminds me of like pineapple juice.
Yeah, it's really hazy, although...
Super hazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an unfiltered IPA, so we kind of swirled the yeast and distributed it.
Yeah, we distributed the yeast. He rolled the bottle around, so we, got nice even.
But yeah, it reminds me exactly like the color, the look of pineapple juice. Almost identical.
Yep, it really does. Like
nice.
That and orange juice or something.
Bright white head.
White head.
Pretty small, nothing huge.
Nope, and some lacing actually.
A little bit of lacing,
some bubbles, but that's not the really important stuff, is it, guys?
Nope. Let's jump in.
All right, let's get a smell. Wow. Yeah, it really does smell like.
Definitely.
Like pineapple mixed with grapefruit. And I know you guys hear us say this a lot with these beers, but that really is the smell.
Nelson Sauvin, I think, is a unique hop.
It's almost like...
It's often described as smelling like gooseberries.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I have no idea what a gooseberry smells like, so I'm not going to compare it to that. But I do get super fruity. You do get a little bit like citrus notes, but...
Yeah, I don't know what a gooseberry smells like either.
You get like almost like a different fruitiness. I guess maybe it is gooseberry, but it's not quite. I can't pinpoint it.
What I'm getting, and I fear people say this, is like the rind mixed with the fruit itself, like the flesh of the fruit itself. And I do agree that it's different. It's not just pineapple, grapefruit, orange juice. I mean, maybe it has more mango. Maybe
it's got some. I think it's got some spice to it too, like
guava too.
Maybe a little bit like that tropical flavor.
But that rye is definitely in there.
Yeah,
which is setting it apart.
I'm getting some spice, not only from Nelson Sauvin, because I know that has a little bit of spice, like peppery kind of.
Yeah.
Baking spice type spice, but rye gives a little bit of spiciness too, and that's definitely coming through on this.
This is a really just mouth-watering smelling beer for sure. And I brought this back straight from the brewery, so this is going to be a real treat. Ready to dive in?
I can't wait. I love Australia and New Zealand hops.
All right, man.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Oh, yeah. It's so light. It's crisp. It's bright. It's got...
Wow.
Again, it's got that fruitiness. Not quite... I don't get as much citrus on the palate as I do that.
Agreed.
I'm going to call it gooseberry because I don't know what gooseberry is, to be honest with you. But it's a fruitiness I can't quite pinpoint.
This beer comes alive really, really nicely in the middle of the mouth. When you first take your sip, you're like, oh wow, it's really clean and refreshing. And then the middle of the mouth is where all the flavor is for me. I'm getting hit with that, like you said, whatever the hell it is, if it's gooseberries, but I think you're getting that rye malt. You're getting the rye malt, a little bit of spiciness from that. You're definitely getting that, like again, the grapefruit rind, like I said.
I get that a lot.
It definitely does match the aroma, but it's not as
not as
like
strong.
Like flavor. Yeah, it's not as strong. But it's not It's very like refreshing.
I think you're right. I agree completely. I think right up front, it's very light. It's crisp. It's so clean. And as soon as you get to that middle part is when all the flavor comes out. And then in the back, you get the bitterness, but it's not like the typical bitterness.
It's very soft.
It reminds me of like eating like citrus rind. It's like that kind of pithy kind of bitterness to it.
It is. It really does set itself apart from others. If you've had rye IPAs, then you kind of know what you're in for with this. It has that little bit of a twist to it.
Definitely some spiciness. I think that's where some of that bitterness is coming from too. Is from the rye. I mean, it's got that spice, which is nice.
It's a great combination to really put these this hop in and then throw in the rye. The Nelson Sauvin is one of my favorites as well. I think it's delicious.
I love them. I love Galaxy is one of my favorites.
Yeah,
Australian hop. Nelson Sauvin's one of my favorites. Just because you see them, but you don't see them that often. They're so unique that they're different from what we see, like Cascade, Amarillo, Citra. We see those all the time in American IPAs or anything. I'd love to see these other varieties that bring so much to the table.
And especially with so many IPAs doing that tropical fruit, going for that kind of taste.
Change it up.
This switches it up a little bit, and I made the comparison to like a West Coast Hill Farmstead or whatever. I actually really stand by that. This is definitely that kind of feel, that kind of taste to it. Very clean, very feels very
almost like organic.
Yeah, like exactly.
Kind of natural, like nothing
in it. Just
no messing with it. Just
really
great
pure great beer, and that's what you're getting with this. And this is what all their beers are like. So yeah, I mean I really like this. It's just different. Ratings.
So BeerAdvocate gave this one a 98, and RateBeer gave it a 100. Do you know what you're going to give it yet? I'm kind of leaning on the fence between a couple numbers, but
I just love that it sets itself apart, and I love that the finish is kind of like clean, refreshing, and there's not too much bitterness. It's kind of mellow. Also, I like that it's not too sweet.
Oh yeah, there's a little bit of maltiness there, but it's not over. It's almost more hop focused.
Yep.
Whereas I usually like a balanced IPA, but I mean this isn't over the top hops. It's more leaning towards the hop side, but it's not. It's good.
Yeah, this beer is really all about the middle of the mouth. You let this thing sit in your tongue once you have it in your mouth, and that's where it's really good. I don't know if I'd say a 98 or 100, but I would definitely say in the 90s. I'll go with a 90, 94, 95 for me. I mean, it's just it is world class. It's clean, what?
I think we've been doing this too long.
Same.
I was leaning on between 94 and 95. I'm personally gonna give it a 95 for the use of the Nelson Sauvin hop.
I'm just gonna go 95 then.
Personally, I wish it had a little bit. I almost felt it was a little too light, and I know I've said this before, but I do wish there was just a slight more little maltiness to this to balance it out. But because they're using a unique hop and it's different than your typical IPA, I want to bump it up another point, so I'm going to go with 95 instead of the 94 I was thinking of.
I like that, and I think that if I could improve on anything is what Jared's saying, maybe a little bit more like body. And I actually would, for me personally, I actually like a little bit more sweetness. But now that I'm drinking it, I usually try to make a comparison to another beer if I can. This reminds me a lot of like Maine Beer Company.
Oh yeah?
I don't know if you get that, but like I know you haven't had a lot of them, but it definitely reminds me of like the Mo, or like a mix between the Lunch and the Mo. It reminds me of Maine Beer Company and Hill Farmstead.
What it reminded me of, which we recently did, was the Blind Pig, where we felt just in the sense that we felt the aroma was super powerful.
And then
when you take a sip, it's missing something on the flavor or the aroma, or sorry, the palate.
Yes.
I think the flavor profile is great on this, and I think it's huge. I just wish it had a little bit more and a little bit more sweetness on the palate. I don't think it lived up to the aroma. But still, amazing beer.
You know what it is, guys? We're splitting hairs. Like, the more and more we do this, we're only picking out the best beers to review, so it's going to be kind of splitting hairs. And that's what you have to get used to hearing us do, because this is, bar none, definitely one of the best IPAs. I mean, it's delicious.
Oh, I love it.
It's definitely one of the best in the country, I'm sure, right now.
And I mean, you obviously don't see too many people using 100% Nelson Sauvin, and that to me is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean that's a great hop, and if you can get your hands on beers and brewers using it, it's absolutely phenomenal. Very aromatic, very flavorful. So with that being said, I guess that wraps up for the Nelson from Alpine, California, and I recommend if you can get to that brewery. It is tiny. It is really good, like great atmosphere. They have a pub where they serve really good food. You can get growler fills. You can get bottles. It's the works, and it's a really small, tight-knit operation. I highly suggest you go check them out.
Definitely. With that being said,
check us out.
Comment, subscribe, find us on Facebook.
And you know the
Tune
rest.
in next week.
Cheers, guys.